All right, this is a review of this TOPTES H2S analyzer detector. So this is mainly as a personnel detector. So you can see it's fairly small, compact. The weight is not too bad, fairly lightweight. And it just measures for the one gas, H2S. So inside of this would be a fuel cell. They're, I believe, replaceable. They have a 2-year life on them. Probably should have a shop do the replacement if you're gonna replace it. You know, they do sell the replacement cells on Amazon. And of course, this is got some certifications on it: CE, UK, and CA for Canada. So it's got some certifications on it. You're not probably going to be having a bottle of H2S laying around so that you can check the calibration on this. So basically, you have to rely on the fact that it's been certified, and it's basically an electrochemical cell. So not a whole lot can go wrong with that, I guess, until it finally depletes the cell, and I'm sure it'll tell you replace the cell at some point, usually after 2 years. I've got other ones that are used in shop or factory settings. They have 4 cells on them. One is for percent oxygen, breathing oxygen content. One is for explosive gas content, percent of lower explosive limit, LEL. And then you've got H2S, which is a separate gas that's very toxic. So you always want to check for that. And if you're in an area that could have H2S in it, like natural gas processing centers or oil refineries that are dealing with sour oil, for example, they can have H2S in them as well. In terms of having H2S exposure, other than that, it's probably going to be pretty rare, but I guess maybe if you're a miner, if you're working in a mine, you might have a need for that. And by the way, if you're in a natural gas area or a mine or an oil refinery, the requirement is generally, for most areas, you need an explosion-proof device. And I see that this is listed as explosion-proof, which means it cannot create any sparks, or basically it can go into any environment and not ignite, provide that third element necessary for a fire. You need fire, you need fuel, you need oxygen, and you need an ignition source. So this is guaranteed not to have an ignition source or to provide an ignition source. Of course, you have a battery in there, so if you took the thing apart or smashed it hard enough, you might get it to spark somehow. But under normal usage, I guess there's test criteria that it has to meet, and once it meets that, it can be certified as explosion proof. Not a whole lot to say about this. It just tells you what it's analyzing for, H2S. Shows you the reading, which is 0 parts per million. Usually the alarm will set it. You'll have those set at 10 or 20 parts per million. That's where you need to start paying attention to it. You get up, to 100 parts per million or something, and you're in trouble. It's going to be starting to affect your health big time. So if this thing beeps, you need to get away from the source of the H2S. Follow the local rules, whatever they are for the area you're in. If you're checking, I saw some people were mentioning that, they tried it with natural gas or something at their home, of course, or, from bottled gas. You're not going to see any H2S there because it gets removed out near the wellhead, most typically. Or, if you're in a refinery, it may come in with a sour shipment of crude. But if, as a home consumer type person, that gas got stripped out. Now, there is a smell to natural gas that's added after the fact, after it's been cleaned up, and that's called a mercaptan. And yes, mercaptans do contain sulfur, but not H2S. They are, I think, cyanosulfur compounds. So they stink. They're designed to stink, so it alerts you to a natural gas leak. That's not what this is for. This is not for explosibility, LEL, lower explosive limit detection. This is for H2S exposure because it's a poison.
It goes right into your bloodstream, and you get too much H2S in you, and it will kill you. It'll kill you. So this is a single-purpose H2S meter. That's what it's for. It's very robust. It's got a belt clip here that would trap a Kodiak bear, I'm sure. And for weight, this thing's pretty reasonably sized and weight, and so it weighs 4.6 ounces, according to my little scale here. So not too bad on weight. Like I said, I've got a larger one with 4 gas. The typical thing you'll see at refineries and so forth are the 4, they call it a 4 gas detector: oxygen, LEL, CO, and H2S. So this is for the H2S. So I think I said all I can say about this. It's got some certifications on it. Just looking to see if there's anything else. It's all these different languages. Nice user manual: English, German, French, Italian, and Spanish. And they will tell you about charging. The charger on this is the very old style USB connection, which is kind of rare to see these days. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they give you the cord for it. But it's this the large trapezoidal USB plug format that probably should be updated to a C charger. Of course, a couple years from now, there'll probably be some other format. So whatever. It does have a long-lasting battery per the claims. They say it'll last 4 or 5 days, which might actually be true, because you can usually get 1 full day out of the 4 gas. Shut down. Okay. So if you have one of these, most of the meters have the 4 gas cells running, and they'll last a full day with no problem. So this only has 1 meter, one cell running, so it probably will last 4 times as long if you push it. However, most normal people, I think, would charge it at the end of a day. Why not? Why test the limits of the battery? So that's it. It comes in a very nice case. Oh, I guess I should mention this. Most of these detectors have one of these little deals. You clip it over this cell, and it has a hole for a hose to affix to it. So if you have a gas sample coming in through a tube, for whatever reason, if you're sampling something, before you enter an area, or whatever reason, you can focus that flow directly onto the detection device, and it will basically do that for you, rather than having to hold a tube against air and shield it from the wind or whatever. It provides a shielding against wind, and it holds the hose in place, so you're hands free at that point. You might have this hooked to a sample pump. So there's different ways to use these things, and this is a nice unit that will accommodate that. So why not? And again, very professional looking case here. Holds everything nicely sorted for you. And that's all I've got to say. Oops, turn it the right way there. So hopefully that helps. Take care.
This is the TOPTES hydrogen sulfide detector. You can see it has a nice manual. It's flashing now to tell you that it's actually working and looking for hydrogen sulfide. This is the neat case that it comes with. Look at that. A nice, sturdy case. I don't have any hydrogen sulfide in this area because my batteries are all in good shape. But if you have a bunch of batteries around your place, such as what you're using for your solar power system or other kind of backup power system, if you've got a lot of batteries and you're concerned about the fumes, this is the device you need. It will monitor There's the manual, it tells you about it. It will monitor the air around the batteries and will let you know if it detects hydrogen sulfide. This is the alarm. It has several different modes that you can set so that you get exactly what you need. It charges from a USB charging source. They include the charging cable, and it just does a great job. I think you'll like it. Thanks for watching.
Alright, just want to give you a quick live look. This is definitely a loud alarm, but hopefully I don't have to hear it ever to go off. And I never really actually tested it just yet, but she's pretty solid, and I can tell you that it's a loud noise, which is a good thing. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick live look. This comes with a carry-on case too, and I'm still learning more about this, and so far I'm happy to 5-star this, and as long as it works great whenever I do the test, and I'm just gonna look things over and read the information, and I'd be glad to keep this a good grade. Thanks for watching my video review.